All right, let's hurry up and get this thing over with. I don't want to talk about it, but because we are dedicated historians here at This May or May Not Be Satire, we're here to chronicle everything, the highs and the lows of the 2016 Raiders season. And we tasted defeat for just the third time all year round when we got beat by the Chiefs in Kansas City, 21 to 13. Um, a lot of things to talk about this game. To begin with, Derek Carr went 17 for 41, only had 117 yards, no touchdowns. It's clear that he's got some sort of nagging hand injury, which is weird because the dude like broke his pinky, in that one game, then came back and threw like 45 touchdowns in the third quarter alone in that one game against Carolina 2 weeks ago. But in this one, I mean, he looked really bad. They're not doing any plays from under center anymore. They're just doing shotgun the pistol. And that really concerned me. That greatly limits sort of their offensive potential. So we're seeing this team much more reliant on the run game. And to be fair, I think Latavius Murray is playing very, very well. He had another 100-yard game and got a touchdown. And, I think the run game has really saved the Raiders a lot of times this year. But the thing is, it's got to be a half and half deal. You just can't have the run game and the crappy, pass attack. You got to have, equal representation. And clearly the pass game was not going tonight. I think, who was it? Amari Cooper was the leading receiver with 29 yards. Just a really bad game. I don't know if it was the weather or what was going on, but, it's just really bad. And having Kaliche Osmole out of the game clearly really, hindered the run game. I'm not sure how much more yardage the Raiders could have gotten if he was playing, but clearly, having him not on the left side really, really hurt the team running the ball. But there are some positives. I think the Raiders did a great, great job stopping the run. I mean, Kansas City only had 65 yards the entire time. I think what happened was the exact opposite of what we all expected. I think we kind of went in there and expected Kansas City to just run the ball and just flatten us out that way. But no, they said, hey, let's go in there and let's shoot to kill. And that's what they did. Alex Smith had like 202 yards by the end of the second half. Now, thankfully, something happened after that. The Raiders' defense got crunk. So we had T.J. Carey out there getting interceptions. We saw Khalil Mack get another strip sack. We saw Tyreek Hill, coughing up the ball like his ex-girlfriend he choked back in college. He did that. Look it up. And and they had back-to-back defensive turnovers for the Chiefs, but the Raiders could only get 3 points off of it, which is a huge, huge problem. If they would have at least got a field goal in both of those, 21-16 game. And then, of course, you had the Amari Cooper drop late in the fourth. But as it turns out, there could be some developing things going on with that one. That it wasn't just a crappy pass from Derek Carr. It was actually Carr threw the ball and it hit like the overhead camera wire, and which caused the ball to like do the phantom drop. So that should have been a dead play right there, but it didn't get called because life sucks. It sucks bad. So yeah, I mean the Raiders, their defense did a pretty good job stopping Kansas City in the second half after just not doing anything during the first, so I can appreciate that. But the offense was just anemic. You got to get the pass game going. If you're not getting, Michael Crabtree, 100 yards a game or Amari Cooper 100 yards a game, I don't know what you're going to do. I mean, you can only get the run game going for so long. And what I couldn't figure out is why didn't they do the same thing against the Texans where they used the running backs as receivers, where you just do the quick dump outs, get yardage that way if you can't pass the ball. I thought that was a really, really big offensive screw up right there by Blackjack. So yeah, it's a crappy loss. I mean, it's one of those games where the Raiders were down 21-3, and it looked like their defense was going to inspire another rallying victory, but it didn't happen. 21-13, an 8-point loss. You can be upset about it, but it's not a blowout by any means. It was a very close game. It came down to the wire. The Raiders were threatening with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so it's still on the line. There was that. So at least it was close. But yeah, it doesn't bode well. The loss drops the Raiders down to the fifth seed overall, and we got some interesting games coming up. Now we got San Diego, another divisional game on the 11th. Or is it the 18th? Okay, yeah, it's on the 18th. Yeah, 11th is Monday. I don't know what I'm thinking. Actually, it's a Sunday. Don't let me bother. So you got December 18th, we're taking on the Chargers. Then you've got the Colts December 24th, and then of course the final game of the year against Denver at Denver on New Year's Day. And I'm just going to check real quick what the Kansas City Chiefs schedule looks like. I don't actually acknowledge the state of Missouri as existing, so I can't name off the top of my head who they've got coming up. All right, they've got Tennessee, they've got Denver, and they've got the Chargers. So if you're a Raiders fan, you're going to want to be rooting for Marcus Mariota this week, next weekend. You're going to be rooting for the Broncos, and you're going to be rooting for the Chargers, believe it or not, because we got to get the Chiefs to lose some couple of games here so that we can get back in home field discussions. So yeah, that's it. Tough loss. I mean, there are some glimmers of hope. You know, the Raiders didn't, roll over and die like they did in years past. So at least there's that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We got some divisional games coming up. Hopefully, the Raiders get some extra time off, so they'll be nice and healthy for the Chargers when they come rolling in. And from there, you already got 10 wins. Will we get 13, 12, 11? They'll be enough to make the playoffs. So have to wait and see, folks. Things are getting very, very interesting in Raider Nation.